another catalyst that's coming down the road here, and this is, I view this as a free catalyst, is the work that's being done at Cobre Orco, which is another project that we have. We JV'd that earlier this year with Teck Resources, and in the background, Teck has been going through the same process that we're going through at Putumayo, which is this DIA process.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. Joining me now is Chris Bunsig. He is the CEO of Condor Resources. And Chris, it's great to see you again. How are you?
I'm well, Steve. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks. Lots of updates going on a number of different fronts. I thought it'd be a great opportunity to catch up with you to see where everything's at. And more importantly, you've just put out some news about Putumayo that getting a pretty significant declaration. So I'll let you sort of share what we're talking about here.
Yeah, so it's been a busy summer. We've been working on a number of things over the course of the last several months. And I mean, firstly, at Putumayo, we're advancing through our DIA process for the Southeast Target area, which is important because that's the direction that we intend to focus the next drill program. And so we had a successful meeting with the community back in late July there, and we've just made our application to the Ministry of Energy and Mines for that DIA. And so we expect, as we grind through that bureaucratic process, we expect to have that in hand kind of mid to late September. And so things are going very well there. And the other second update is really on Winac Punta. So recall that Winac Punta already has a DIA, but we're going through this consulta previa process, which is more of a community consultation as it relates to the cultural identity. And so with the consulta previa, we had our key meeting there in early August, and now the next date that we're watching is in late August for news from the government on that, and following the acceptance of the consulta previa, the full process, we should be able to be in a position to start a drill program there in the early fall as well.
Yeah, and I guess people need to understand these are documents that have to happen. They have to do it this way, the way it is, and it sounds like the timeline is pretty favorable for the company and for what you want to do this fall.
I think it's lining up really well, and certainly lining up with the current state of the markets. And I think there's been a bit of an uptick, I guess, in the juniors recently, and certainly with gold at 2,500. I think we're sitting pretty well here. There's another catalyst that's coming down the road here, and this is, I view this as a free catalyst, is the work that's being done at Cobre Orco, which is another project that we have. We JV'd that earlier this year with Teck Resources, and in the background, Teck has been going through the same process that we're going through at Putumayo, which is this DIA process. And so they are at the point where they're waiting on a couple of things, and they're going to submit their own DIA application for the Cobre Orco project. And that will be, following pretty closely the same timeline as Putumayo. And so we'd expect Teck to get in there and be drilling relatively shortly as well. And that's significant because it's not our drill program, it's, Teck Resources drill program. And they'll certainly be on the ball with it. But they've also made other investments in the region in very similar geology. And I'm speaking specifically about Copper-Nico, which just started trading last week. And they're trading at a 60 million market cap, and Teck is a 10% shareholder of that company now. And they're going after the same kind of target. They have another skarn deposit, and we've got a high-grade skarn copper porphyry, copper with gold. And we're excited about that. And so Teck's going to be busy in the fall as well, we believe.
Yeah, and are you able to glean some I don't want to say some advice, but some knowledge from them as well as the work that they're doing in order to use that on some of the other projects you're working on as well? I mean, I guess when you're all in that area, you kind of work together and try to push everyone forward.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a good relationship with Teck and a number of the other exploration companies that are advancing projects in Peru. And so those dialogues are always open, and yes, certainly that can continue. I think that this is a great opportunity for our company because not everyone knows what Cobre Orco is and what the opportunity is. But it's a very classical kind of like a textbook porphyry skarn type system, but it's got high grade copper and gold from grab samples on surface. I'd encourage anybody to go take a look at our new website, which we've just launched, and it has a great description of what that project is. And so we don't get a lot of value for it in stock price, but I think that it's something that over time we will actually be able to realize on.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be pretty exciting times this fall. Lots to talk about, and we'll be there to do it. So, Chris, thank you so much. Good to see you again, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
You too, Steve. Enjoy the rest of the summer.
All right, you as well. Chris Bunsig, the CEO of Condor Resources.